Welcome to MRM Sportsman. I'm your host, Ronald M. It's the reaction video to the Champions League, man. Champions League results for game week 4, match day 1. Man, I can't believe what we witnessed last night. Yes, Chelsea won. I mean, that was an important, like I said in my previous video, that was a key fixture for us. And Potter managed to pull the Italian joke, man. He managed to get a victory away from home. And now we're top of the group, where I feel like Chelsea deserve to be. Let me just give you a run through of the results, and then we talk a bit more about the games. The first match, Maccabi Haifa versus Juventus. What a shocker. Juventus lost the game 2-0 to Maccabi Haifa away from home. Then FC Copenhagen, the Denmark team, versus Manchester City. Another shocker in the sense that it was a draw. Although City got a red card early on in the game, and they played pretty much about 60-70 minutes of the game, 10 men with the men down, there were 10 in the field. PSG versus Benfica, another 1-0 draw, man. This group is becoming tighter by the minute. We have Dinamo Zagreb versus Salzburg. Dinamo Zagreb 1, Salzburg 1, another draw. Dortmund versus Sevilla, another draw, 1-0 draw. Milan versus Chelsea, of course, Chelsea 1-2-0. Shakhtar Donetsk versus Real Madrid, another draw, a 1-0 draw. Leipzig won away to Celtic, man. Those are the games that played yesterday on the 11th of October. But when you think about it, man, that was an impressive victory for Chelsea, I have to say. Although we got, okay, the red card for me was a bit soft, but then Tomori did pull mount and wasn't playing the ball, he was basically playing the man. So he deserved the red card, and, you know, Jorginho steps up in Italy and just, you know, that skip, hop, jump, it's a goal, man. What else can you expect? And Opa got another striker's goal. I think Opa, for me, he might be breaking the number 9 Chelsea curse, because he's got 3 goals in 3 games now, which is quite impressive. 3 goals in a row, which is quite impressive. And you'd expect him to continue the run versus Aston Villa, man. I mean, there's nothing else to expect than that run. So that was quite impressive for Chelsea. And, you know, again, I understand AC Milan are the Serie A champions, but then they didn't pose a threat to us. Let me just say this: the ref, you know, I put out a tweet saying that the ref was like a, you know, when you're in school and then they give a prefect, they make someone a prefect, and then it's the first day that writing everyone was just making silly noises, or if you're littering, the ref is on. The way he was dishing out cards, that was. I don't know how many yellow cards he gave players yesterday. I mean, there were so many yellow cards in the game. I definitely thought at some point he might say another red card, because every challenge he felt was a yellow card offense. You know, some refs just give you a warning and let it go. He was dishing out yellow cards like it's nothing, man. But nonetheless, that was an impressive victory for Chelsea. I was quite impressed with Mason Mount. I think for me, I would give Mason Mount the man of the match. He won us the penalty, assisted Opa's goal, which was key and important, man, for Chelsea to turn it around. And I think Potter ball is actually taking shape now. I think the way we have so many players in the box, and for me, for a change, it's not about favoritism anymore. I think players who deserve to be playing are playing for us. So it's quite good, man. And I think the way Mason Mount is discovering his form, I think the only thing which is lacking now is definitely for him to get goals. He's getting assists, which is a good thing, because at times Chelsea fails to have a natural assister or someone who's willing to put in those balls for the strikers. And like I said, I think we have a world-class striker. For me, Opa is world-class striker. If you mention the top 10 strikers in the world, I'll definitely put Opa Mayang in that list, man. That was an impressive away victory. I expect us, because we're top of the group with Salzburg second, AC Milan third, and Dinamo Zagreb last. I expect Chelsea to finish top of the group, man, and avoid any big teams if you finish second. So I think now it should be a straightforward sailing for Potter. If you need to win our next match, I think it's just straightforward sailing, man, and we will finish top. And then let's quickly talk about the Juventus game, man. What's going on in Juventus? What's going on in Italy, man? Italian teams, you know, traditionally they expected Juventus to finish top of the group or finish second if PSG is in the group. But then now, it looks like they will be in Europa League. I mean, if your team is playing Europa League football, if you're an Arsenal fan and Man United fan, imagine this. AC Milan might fall down. Juventus might fall down. There's a chance Barca might fall into Europa League. there's a chance Spurs might fall into Europa League. I think it will be the most interesting Europa League in a while, because we have like 6-7 favorites to win that cup. And in as much as these Italian teams are playing pretty much bad football in the Champions League, you would expect them to pick up form next second half of the season when the Europa League kicks in. I think with Juventus, they will expect to try and win the trophy. Roma is also there. So that would be a difficult run in the Europa League for any team which is currently in the Europa League, specifically Man U and Arsenal. If these teams fall down, and they will fall down, again, it's another battle for them. So definitely, I think the Europa League might be interesting equally with the Champions League next time around in February, man. Let's quickly jump onto the Manchester City versus FC Copenhagen versus Manchester City. That was a crazy game. City had a goal disallowed. They had a penalty given by VAR, which Mahrez missed. Then they had a man sent off by VAR. I mean, that was a crazy first 30 minutes of the game. And at the end of it all, City threw the game away from home. I think Pep would be frustrated with that draw, because if they got 3 points, it would have been guaranteed they finish first. And I think they will finish first anyway. But then it just makes it a little bit, they were playing the team everyone expected City to get two wins from, which is FC Copenhagen. Now they have to play Dortmund, which was a tricky fixture in the first place, and a Sevilla, which actually looked better tonight against Dortmund. So I think that would be the most frustrating thing for Pep, because he would have wanted to wrap it up quickly and then just focus on catching Arsenal in the league, and he did rest players as I predicted, as everyone I think predicted. I don't think the Cyborg Haaland came into play today. I think I was just saving him for the game against Liverpool to just humble Liverpool. So I think for Pep, that would be the most frustrating thing. But then to get a draw when you're 10 men for pretty much 3/4 of the game, and that's City for you. They're impressive, and they did have some chances to try and win the game. But then you expect them to pick up pace against Liverpool. And I think key for them, the player who got the red card, Gomez, is not a first team regular. He's not part of the first 11 if Pep is supposed to win a match. So I think for Pep, you'd be worried for the kid because he gets to miss some games, but then you expect City to again finish first in the group. Then we quickly talk about Real Madrid versus Shakhtar Donetsk. This team, Real Madrid, doesn't know when to be defeated, man. They don't know when they're beaten. They're on top of the league, top of the group, in the Champions League group. And they still salvage a draw away to Shakhtar Donetsk. The fighting spirit in Madrid is like no other team. I don't think there's a European team which never gives up like Real Madrid, man. Whenever you think, because I definitely thought this would be a shocker by Donetsk, they've won the game. Then pop up Antonio Rudiger with a header in the last minute of injury time in the second half, and he makes it 1-0, man. I think this team, the spirit of Madrid that says never surrender. I know it's normally champions never surrender, but then Real Madrid never surrenders to any defeat, man. That was quite impressive for them. And you'd expect them to go on to finish the group top, in top position. I don't think there will be any challenger. For Madrid, it's all about the round of 16, how they perform, who they are drawn against. And you have to say this, Madrid never goes, even if they're playing against the big teams in Europe, if you put them against City, your PSG, your Liverpool, your Chelsea, even if on paper they look like they are underdogs, you'd expect Madrid to pull up a shocker. Like we saw yesterday, they were favorites to win against Donetsk, then they managed to salvage a draw when all hope seemed lost. They never gave up. Another team would have thought, we're still top of the league, let's just save our energy, try to focus on getting more points in La Liga. They have the El Clasico this weekend, so we'd have thought maybe they'll just push the defeat aside and focus on El Clasico. But then again, man, they did salvage a draw. And then, of course, another game to talk about is the PSG versus Benfica. PSG with a whole lot of chances and getting a draw against Benfica. Benfica are proven to be a tough nut to crack. They're proven to be a stubborn team for PSG. And again, there's been this whole Mbappe talk. For me, I don't care what's going on. I think Mbappe is becoming too big for you. He's having a big head. If I'm being honest, I don't remember. I grew up in the era where Messi and Ronaldo were dominating football, but I don't remember them becoming this toxic now to the teammates, man. Mbappe is a world-class player. Let's put it out there. Let's be honest. But then for a player who's never won the Champions League, he's behaving as if he's God's gift to football, man. The way he's behaving with PSG, I mean, there's been reports he has had a fallout with the coach. I don't remember Ronaldo and Messi being like this at a young age. I think now they can actually command this attention. I mean, Ronaldo has always had a greater personality than Messi, I think. He's always had a bigger ego. But then, when at least they back up, you know, Ronaldo won 3 Champions League back-to-back for Real Madrid. Messi won Champions League with arguably the best footballing side we've ever seen. Yes, Mbappe won the World Cup, but then the way he's behaving now, I mean, PSG have definitely given him too much power. And I think it's a good thing Madrid ended up not going to Madrid. I think we're going to be a toxic person in Madrid. Because now you see Benzema is the main man. If Mbappe was there, how are they going to handle those two egos? Because Mbappe would want to be the outright big ego in the team. So for me, honestly, someone has to check Mbappe's ego. I think someone has to check Mbappe's ego. And I saw some Manchester United fans saying maybe they would love to have Mbappe at Old Trafford, man. I think with Ten Hag trying to build a team without egos, to have Mbappe there, you'll be a special talent, no doubt. But then the package he brings from PSG, I think it will definitely follow him. If Mbappe goes there whilst Ronaldo is still there, I think for me that would be a disaster, because Mbappe will come there to want to command the dressing room, to want to become the next number 7. I think would want the number 7 jersey, and he would definitely want to be the next great star for Manchester United, the next club legend for them. And it might prove to be toxic. I think in his mind, he would definitely think he's bigger than Ten Hag. He's definitely bigger than all the other stars in Manchester United. So, man, for me, Mbappe, his attitude now, I think it's becoming a little bit irritating, if I'm being honest. Just prove to us on the pitch that you're the best player. I mean, right now, I'll give, if Haaland wins the Champions League, you definitely pick Haaland for the Ballon d'Or. Unless if Mbappe, let's say France retains the World Cup, but you definitely give Haaland the Ballon d'Or. So for me, Mbappe, now his attitude is becoming too toxic, man. Let's quickly talk about the Sevilla versus Dortmund. Sevilla have a new coach, and they managed to get a draw away to Dortmund. Again, it's another team that will be falling to the Europa League, man. So that's another twist in the Europa League. I can't believe I'm saying I can't wait for Europa League next time around, next year February, man. But you'd expect Sevilla to actually pick up pace, because the 3 of them quality players. Isco is there, Rakitic is still there, man. We'd expect them to pull some shookers in the Europa League. So another draw. I think Dortmund now are just about to guarantee the second place behind Manchester City. And then Leipzig versus Celtic. They're in the Real Madrid group. I think the second spot is basically fight between Leipzig and Shakhtar Donetsk. So I would expect Leipzig to they're actually second now in the group. Just a point ahead of Shakhtar Donetsk. So their clash between those two teams will be key for who finishes second and who falls down to Europa League. Again, if you think about it, if Leipzig falls to Europa League with Timo Werner and Nkunku, Timo Werner and Nkunku there, you would expect Leipzig to actually be a dangerous side in the Europa League, man. I think those are the talking facts from the day 1 of match week 4. And then we have to talk about the second day, the big fixtures for the return legs. I think the Liverpool versus Rangers one. That's a huge fixture. Liverpool away to Rangers with Klopp under pressure. There's so many injuries now. Matip is also injured. Trent is out. That would be huge. Diaz is also out. That would be huge game for if Liverpool loses that game and they somehow fall to Europa League. That would be a disaster. And then of course Tottenham Hotspur versus Frankfurt at home. I think Spurs have to win this match. Again, that group is evenly poised. Anyone can finish first and second. And if Spurs falls down to Europa, maybe Conte deserves to be in the Europa League, because maybe that's a competition you actually look forward to winning. And man, I think those are the 2 key fixtures they have to look out for. If I'm being honest, I'd want Liverpool and Spurs to fall down. For me, I almost forgot. The Barca versus Inter Milan, Barcelona at Camp Nou, a Spotify Camp Nou. I mean, you'd expect Barca to win the game, but then it falls right into Inter Milan's hands. Inter has to counter Barca. They have to counter them to death. And if Xavi, I think this game against Inter Milan will set up nicely for the El Clasico this weekend. I mean, if Barca loses this game and then loses El Clasico on the weekend, Xavi all of a sudden becomes under pressure, and it becomes a huge match for Xavi. It's something to behold, man. Xavi has to win tonight. I don't care who he picks. For me, he has to pick the right side. I don't want to see Busquets in that game. If Busquets starts, I'm putting it out there. If Busquets starts that game, we are losing to Inter Milan. Because Inter will come with the same strategy they did against Lewandowski. Try to man-mark Lewandowski. Whenever it's the ball, put 2-3 players around him. Try to destabilize him as much as you can, and then hit back on the counter. So if Xavi starts with a midfield that is a bit shaky, and of course, you know, Barca's defense will be shaky, and with the injuries we have, we would expect Piqué to start, which is again another, I think, weak point for us as Barcelona fans. We have to be careful, because if we fall down to Europa League, I think that would be a disaster. And you know, Madrid topping that group and Barca falling down to Europa League, that would be a huge disaster. I mean, the banter will live rent-free in Real Madrid's fans' heads, man. So Xavi has to get up some points, because we expect to lose to Bayern Munich. Unless if Bayern thinks when they play Barca, they are through already, and then they just rotate. But you know, the likes of Thomas Muller would love to just make sure Barca plays in the Europa League, man. So Xavi has to actually pull some weight this game. This game is massive So it's a massive game for Barca, for Liverpool, and for Spurs. Those three teams need positive results as much as they can. And of course, we'll give you a reaction to the matches once they're played, man. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for the support. Those are always talking football with me. I really appreciate your engagement, man. And again, be on the lookout for new content we're going to put out. Like I said, we're going to put out the reaction to the results of match day 2, and of course we'll be focusing on the Premier League, and we'll also do a special video for La Liga. I'll try to get a Real Madrid fan on the channel, and we'll do a special for the El Clasico this weekend, man. It's a big match, one of the biggest games of the year, one of the biggest games in the world, definitely. You know, Barca versus Real Madrid is always a feisty match. You know, it makes you reminisce of when it was at its prime, Messi versus Ronaldo, when the players actually hated each other. You know, these days you see with all these, if it's a derby or whatever, or you know, these players shake hands after game, cover their mouths, chatting, hugging each other. You know, that time you saw the passion. I mean, I remember the famous match where Ramos pushed Piqué down. Was it Puyol down? I mean, that was typical El Clasico, what you want as fans. I hope we'll get a bit of feistiness. And with Rudiger there, I'm hoping Rudiger will start a fight. For me, I hope Rudiger started fighting the El Clasico. I just love that passion those fights bring into the game, man. But don't forget to subscribe and like to the channel. I'm your host, Ronald, signing out. See you next time, guys.